Welcome, dear friends. Come closer to the warmth of the fire, to the flickering light of the flames, and to the invitation of stories echoing under the night sky. Today I will take you back thousands of years into the depths of mysterious forests, to an unknown land. Yes, hear those distant drumbeats, the rhythms echoing in the heart of the forest. These are the sounds of the Maya civilization, a world where life and death, gods and humans dance together. Today we will step into the lands of this ancient civilization together. Close your eyes and imagine a world where massive pyramids rise to the sky, where the language of the stars is unraveled, and where people live in harmony with the spirit of nature. Here, even time flows differently, as if every breath holds a story. As we begin to trace the footsteps of the Maya people, we find ourselves among a network of interconnected city-states, woven tightly like a web. Temples that hold a secret in every stone, every wall, filled with stories that have been sleeping beneath the earth for centuries but never forgotten. And these cities, lost in the depths of the forest, almost act like a time machine calling us back to the past. Here, in the heart of nature, pyramids rise to converse with the sky, and the voices of shamans whispering prophecies echo. Today we will uncover the unknown stories of these ancient people. Not just their wars and kingdoms. I will tell you about their hopes, fears, beliefs, and the intricate details of their lives. I will speak of Maya's great kings, their priests, and their mysterious goddesses. But this is not just a history lesson. This is a journey to lands you have never known, thousands of years ago. How did people live, believe, love, and fight on these lands thousands of years ago? Together we will seek the answers to these questions. This is a place where even time dares not touch. Every stone, every leaf, every breath carries the traces of thousands of years. And as we follow these traces, perhaps we will find some answers about ourselves in today's world too. Now I invite you to the magical world of the Maya. Let us step into the shadows of the past and get lost in the depths of this magnificent civilization. Our journey is long and mysterious, but do not worry, for I am here to guide you. Come, let's take that first step. Once upon a time, in a place far, far away, where the sun shone the brightest and the moon held the deepest mysteries, there was a land. This was the homeland of the Maya people, a paradise surrounded by deep forests, majestic mountains, and enigmatic caves. Picture it, my friends. That moment when the sun's rays, filtering through the branches and leaves, fall to the earth like a golden cloak. This was the land where the Maya civilization was born and flourished. These lands stretched from the south of Mexico to Guatemala, from the coasts of Belize to the green mountains of Honduras and El Salvador. But this was no ordinary place. According to legends, the gods had carefully shaped it, filling its soil with abundance and its air with mystery. In every inch of ground you step on, there are the footprints of the Maya people. Wherever your eyes turn, there are the massive structures they built with their own hands. The Maya lands were like a stage of revolution. Every corner of this vast region carried a story, a secret. In the depths of the forest, temples rooted in thousand-year-old trees rose towards the sky. These temples were not just piles of stones. They were sacred places where the people communicated with the gods. To them, the forest was not just a place, it was a living, breathing entity. The spirits of the gods were hidden in the trunk of a tree, the murmur of a stream, and the peak of a mountain. Forests. These forests. That cool and dark cover that draws you in at first sight. Imagine, friends, hearing the rustling of leaves and the chirping of birds with every step. The trees are so tall that their branches form a roof covering the sky. And in the depths of this forest, there are ancient cities buried beneath the soil. These cities, transcending time, are connected by stone roads. In some places, valleys are crossed by suspension bridges. These are places that seem forgotten by time, but no, friends, here even time breathes. Then there are the mountains. The mighty mountains that protect the settlements of the Maya. These mountains were not just natural barriers, but also sacred symbols. Behind every peak, every rock face, a legend or traces of a god were hidden. The passes between these mountains were both paths for sacred ceremonies and trails followed by merchants from distant lands. Ah, those trails. Imagine, friends, the feel of the stones under your feet, the cold breath of the mountains, the shadow of the clouds. In every step, there is a past, in every step, a fate. The Maya region was like another world on earth. It was surrounded by water, yet had no water. It was a land of deep caves and underground rivers. The Maya people considered water sacred. They believed it was the gateway to the underworld. These caves were meeting places with the gods, a bridge of sorts between the other world and this one. And here, dear friends, was the magic of the Maya lands. Forests, mountains, caves, deep valleys, and high peaks. Each shaped the spirit and belief of the Maya. They did not see these lands merely as a living space. They found themselves and their gods in every corner of this geography. The land itself was a sage, the sound of water a guide, the shadow of the mountains a teacher. In this enchanted land, the epic of the Maya people was written. In every tree, every stone, every cloud. Come, dear friends, let us continue to follow the traces of this ancient people, because these lands still have many stories to tell. Imagine this. In those ancient times, in a corner of the world, under the shadow of the forest and the coolness of the valleys, the first Maya settlers slowly set foot on these lands. They were a group of people filled with courage, standing amidst the unknown. Picture them, my friends, moving under the lush green leaves, among the trees, with the weight of the world on their shoulders, but a burning desire to survive in their hearts. As the first Maya settlers made their way through the dense trees, where you could barely see the sky, they breathed in the scent of the earth. They pressed their hands into the soil, embracing it like a mother. And at that very moment, friends, an idea began to sprout. The first seed of agriculture was planted in that soil. When the Maya learned to till the land and sow it, the first agricultural revolution began. They planted the seeds of corn, or as it was sacred to them, ixim. These tiny seeds were crucial enough to lay the foundation of the Maya civilization. Because for them, corn was not just food, it was a way of life. Imagine, even in their legends, humans were created from corn. As the first sprouts broke through the ground, their destiny began to take root as well. However, they knew that this new way of life would not evolve with agriculture alone. Over time, villages began to form. Living in small communities, these people gradually evolved into a larger and more complex social structure. Listen to the sounds around you, my friends, the sounds of digging earth, the footsteps of women carrying water, the laughter and running of children. Life back then was just like this, complex yet orderly. Everyone had a role, and every task had a purpose. In Maya society, the social structure was so meticulously woven that every individual was like a part of a web. In this society built around clans and families, there were leaders, priests, farmers, artisans, but each person's role complemented the others. The priests communicated with the gods, the leaders made decisions, and the farmers worked the land. Sacred calendars were prepared every step. Every planting, every harvest was guided by these calendars. And of course, dear friends, as Maya society revolved around agriculture, new social dynamics also began to emerge. Alongside farming, trading, developing tools, and more importantly, passing knowledge from one generation to the next became necessary. Every product they obtained, every discovery they made, became a building block for the next step of their society. And so, over time, ordinary villages turned into towns, and towns into city-states. Imagine those first settlers when they took their first steps on this land. They were just a handful of people. But over time, thanks to this agricultural revolution, they built massive cities where thousands could live together. Agriculture was not just a means of subsistence, but also the foundation of the Mayas' existence and cultural heritage. In their beliefs, every harvest was a gift to the gods, and every planting was a promise to future generations. And that is why, my friends, the Maya people's relationship with agriculture wasn't just about sowing and reaping the land. To them, the land was a monument, a trace of the past, and a hope for the future. In every field, in every ear of corn, lay the story of thousands of years. And we will continue to tell that story. Because the story of the Maya civilization began with the sprouting of a seed and is a story that never truly ends. Ah, dear friends. Now let me tell you about two of the first great cities of the Maya civilization, Nakbe and El Mirador. Close your eyes and imagine. You are embarking on a journey through the depths of the jungle, in a world filled with mysteries. Listen to me, because these cities are not just stones, roads, or pyramids. Each one is a symbol of the greatness and splendor of the Maya civilization, a relic of their enduring legacy. Let's start with Nakbe. The year is around 800 BC. A wind is blowing through the Maya lands, bringing with it a wave of change. In the depths of the jungle, a group of people gather, with pickaxes and hammers in their hands, and a dream in their hearts. They want to build a city, larger than anything anyone has ever seen before. This is how the birth of Nakbe begins. But this is no ordinary city, dear friends. Imagine that these settlers are not only providing for themselves, but also speaking to the gods. Every stone, every structure becomes a gift to their deities. Nakbe was established as one of the first great cities of the Maya people. The city is nestled deep within the jungle, surrounded by massive stone structures. But you might ask, why is it so significant? Because Nakbe offers us one of the earliest and most important examples of Maya architecture. Here we find enormous platforms, monumental structures, and towering staircases. Just think about it, we are in 800 BC, and these people are capable of building such grand structures. With each stone they lay, they are, in fact, laying the foundation of a civilization. Yet the significance of Nakbe is not just in its architectural achievements. The city also serves as a mirror reflecting the social structure, hierarchy, and beliefs of the Maya society. In Nakbe, for the first time, we can see traces of different social classes. Priests, leaders, and the common people all find their roles within this city. Temples, ritual spaces, palaces of the rulers. Each structure has its unique purpose, revealing how Maya society was organized. After Nakbe, let us turn our attention to El Mirador. Ah, El Mirador, an incredible city, a giant, a masterpiece. This city is regarded as the first great metropolis of the Maya civilization. Just imagine, a few centuries after the rise of Nakbe, El Mirador rises in all its glory. However, to define El Mirador merely as a large city would not do it justice, dear friends. This city is considered the first superpower of the Maya civilization. Imagine a stone forest rising in the heart of the jungle, a city where pyramids, temples, and palaces blend together, seemingly reaching for the sky. Look at La Danta Pyramid, one of El Mirador's most striking structures. This is one of the largest constructions of its time, and even today it is considered one of the world's largest pyramids. Imagine, friends, when you reach the top of La Danta, you are so high that you cannot see the end of the jungle. Picture that vast green horizon stretching out before your eyes. With every step, you can feel the determination, the resilience, and the faith of the Maya people. This pyramid is not just a temple. It is a symbol of the Maya people's effort to touch the sky. El Mirador also emerges as a cultural, religious, and political center of the Maya civilization. The temples here become sacred spaces where priests and leaders communicate with the gods, prophecies are read, and rituals are performed. Due to its location at the intersection of major trade routes, the city is not only a religious center but also an economic hub. In El Mirador, people gather not just to pray but also to trade, share knowledge, and strengthen social bonds. Ah, dear friends. Now I'm going to take you deep into the world of the Maya civilization, with its fertile lands and mysterious hieroglyphs. Close your eyes and imagine you're walking through a tropical rainforest, with warm, humid air and rain beating down. In the shade of those massive trees, you see a village amidst the chirping of birds. This is one of the early settlements of the Maya people. But something is changing here. A revolution is taking place. How so? Let me explain. The Maya people, dear friends, didn't see farming as just an ordinary task. No, to them, it was an art, a science, a way of life. On those fertile lands, perhaps for the first time, human hands began to harness the power of nature. Now imagine the golden ears of corn. Yes, corn was not just a food source for the Maya, it was also a sacred plant. They had corn gods. Corn was life itself. The first Maya farmers worked the land with simple stone tools and wooden shovels. They started working as soon as the sun's first light hit, laboring in the shadows of those vast forests. But the Maya didn't just dig the soil, they revolutionized farming. Over time, they developed complex irrigation systems. They created an agricultural paradise filled with canals, reservoirs, and terraces. Those irrigation channels were built so skillfully that water continued to nourish their fields even during the driest seasons. Ah, dear friends, just think about how they used the power of nature to their advantage. They brought river water and the blessings of rain to their fields. Every drop of water gave them life and sustained their existence. In trade. Ah, trade was like the lifeblood in their veins. The Maya didn't stay within their own regions, they traded with other tribes in distant lands. Corn, cocoa beans, obsidian stones, seashells, all of these were trade goods. Traders ventured beyond the mountains to the west and the shores to the east. Every item they carried held both economic value and cultural significance. Traders didn't just transport goods, they also carried information and culture. They broadened the horizons of the Maya, expanding their world. And now, dear friends, let's move on to another marvel of these trade networks. The Maya's writing system, those magnificent hieroglyphs. Place your hand on your heart and think about it. Thousands of years ago, in the depths of that ancient forest, a group of wise men were carving symbols onto stone tablets and tree bark with brushes in hand. What were they doing? They were creating writing. These symbols started as simple marks, but over time they became so complex and elegant that they read like poetry. Each symbol carried a sound, a word, an idea. But these symbols weren't just for conveying information. No, dear friends, each hieroglyph carried the Maya's spirit, beliefs, thoughts, and stories. Hieroglyphs decorated the walls of temples, the stones of palaces, and even the homes of ordinary people. The birth of a king, the victory of a battle, an offering to a god. All of it was carved into these stones. Each hieroglyph was like a window into the history of the Maya people, and every window held a different story. So how did these hieroglyphs come about? Close your eyes for a moment and imagine that time. Maybe one night, around a fire in the depths of the forest, a group of wise men were talking among themselves. Up until then, stories were passed down orally, but one of them stood up and said, "We must not lose these stories. We should write them on stones and papers. Future generations should know who we are and what we've experienced," and thus, the first hieroglyphs emerged. This writing system developed so much over time that the Maya people compiled all their knowledge into these writings. Imagine that everything from mathematics to astronomy, mythology to history was preserved in these symbols. One scholar tracked the movements of the stars and recorded it in hieroglyphs. Another wrote down the details of a ritual, while someone else described the victory of a battle. Each symbol preserved a piece of knowledge and culture. But dear friends, these hieroglyphs weren't just symbols. Each symbol carried a spirit, a story. For those who could read them, they were like whispers from the stones. And these whispers have continued to echo from thousands of years ago to today. Thus, the innovations that the Maya people inscribed both in the land and on the stones were what grew, strengthened, and made their civilization known to the world. From the cornfields to the irrigation channels deep in the forest, from the traders on the trade routes to the hieroglyphs carved into stone tablets. Each piece shows just how rich, complex, and impressive the Maya civilization was. And this story still has much more to tell. So let's continue our journey and explore the secrets of this ancient civilization a bit more deeply. My friends, what I'm about to share will take you to entirely different realms. The heart of the Maya civilization is starting to beat a heart that echoes deep into the annals of history with every thump. Listen closely. Do you hear the distant drum beats? Those are the footsteps of the rising Maya city-states. Tikal, Palenque, Copan. Remember these names well, because these cities were like veins carrying the very spirit and power of the Maya. Let's start with Tikal. Imagine a vast area hidden within the forest, where every shade of green reigns supreme, and suddenly you come face to face with gigantic pyramids. Tikal, dear friends, was not just a city, it was a power center, a fortress. Each of these towering temples and palaces that challenged the sky were sacred places where the Maya spoke with their gods. Tikal was one of the most powerful cities of the classic period. But its power wasn't just in its massive structures, it was also in the bravery and intelligence of its people. Did you know? The warriors of Tikal were so brave that they defeated their enemies not just with their swords but also with their minds. They would strategize, set traps, and always crown their victories with their intelligence. But Tikal's rise wasn't just limited to warfare. They also made revolutions in cultural and scientific fields. Astronomy, mathematics, art. All of these flourished on the streets of Tikal. The scholars in the city observed the skies, calculated the movements of the stars, and created their calendar based on these observations. This calendar allowed them to develop an understanding of time that was ahead of its era. And dear friends, their wisdom in understanding time still amazes us today. The priests of Tikal calculated the most fruitful times for agriculture and determined sacred days by watching celestial bodies. Thus, Tikal was not just a power center, but also a center of wisdom. Now, let's take a look at Palenque. Palenque, what a magnificent place it was. It felt like a green paradise lost in time. Palenque was perhaps one of the most beautiful cities of the Maya. Rising in the heart of the forest, at the foot of the mountains, here art and architecture reached their highest level. Intricately carved stone reliefs brought the temple walls to life. But dear friends, Palenque was not just about beauty. It was also a city of deep mystery. One of Palenque's kings, Pakal, came to the throne as a child. But this child grew to become one of the greatest leaders of the Maya world. Pakal built his city in such a way that every stone, every column told his story. The stories carved into the temples narrated how he was born, how he won wars, and how he governed his people with wisdom. Pakal's kingdom was so enduring that even after his death, he continued to live in these lands. His tomb was built like a monument, adorned with a massive stone sarcophagus and symbols. Palenque didn't forget Pakal. Instead, it carried his spirit and story from generation to generation to generation. But now, my friends, we are heading to Copan. Copan, the shining star of the western edge of the Maya civilization. Copan was different from the other cities. Here, art and science seemed to dance hand in hand. Copan was a pioneer city in astronomy and mathematics. The scholars living here calculated the movements of the stars with such precision that they practically managed the flow of time. Mathematics permeated every aspect of life here. The base 20 system was developed and perfected in Copan. And it wasn't just science. Copan was also a center of art. Stone carvings, monuments, stelae. In this city, each stone was like a work of art. So much so that these works have survived to this day as some of the most famous Maya artworks. The leaders of Copan were just as powerful and wise as those in Tikal and Palenque. However, ruling in Copan wasn't just about showing power. The leaders here were also respected as spiritual leaders. Ceremonies, rituals, dances. All of these were held in the sacred spaces of Copan. People would look to the sky, pray to the gods, and seek their guidance. In the city, every ritual, every ceremony aimed to maintain the balance of nature and spirits. These city-states, Tikal, Palenque, and Copan, each represented a different face of Maya civilization. Each one left its mark on the Maya world with its unique character and power. But there was one thing that united them: wisdom and faith. They sought to understand the world, to solve the mysteries of life and death. And in their efforts they built both mighty fortresses and temples of wisdom. Even today, when we look at the ruins of these cities, we can see how magnificent they were, and how they housed such a wealth of knowledge and richness. Come on, my friends. Let's continue our journey and keep exploring the other mysteries of the Maya, because this story isn't over yet. My friends, let's delve a little deeper. We're about to reach a period in the Maya world that changed their destiny, expanded their cities, and enriched their kingdoms. Let's journey to the Black Stone Age, the era when obsidian reigned supreme. This age was one of the golden ages of Maya lands. Close your eyes and imagine the distant drumbeats from the vast forests, the clamor of trade caravans, and the bustling activity in city squares. Obsidian. Yes, this black stone was the most precious treasure in the Maya's hands. This black glass, born from the heart of volcanoes, was more valuable than gold due to its sharpness and durability. But obsidian wasn't just a stone, it was a symbol of power. This stone played a significant role in the Maya's daily life and sacred rituals. Knives, tools, even ceremonial swords made from it sparkled in the hands of their warriors and priests. Imagine a warrior wielding a black obsidian blade, sharp, deadly, and mesmerizing. So how did this black stone play such a crucial role among Maya cities? Here's the most intriguing part of the story. Obsidian established a vast trade network among cities across the Maya world. Each stone, each piece was transported and exchanged from one city to another. From Tikal to Copan, from Palenque to Calakmul, obsidian caravans were constantly on the move. These caravans didn't just carry stones, they also transported knowledge, culture, and ideas. Intercity trade connected people. Different ideas, innovations, and technologies spread through these routes. As the intensity of trade increased, cities grew and became wealthier. However, this wealth wasn't just economic, it was also spiritual and cultural. The trade of obsidian increased the demand for Maya temples, sanctuaries, and pyramids. During this period, every major Maya city began to build grand structures to showcase its identity and power. And dear friends, this is where the first great temples and pyramids emerged. These structures. They were so massive and majestic that one could never tire of looking at them. Tikal, perhaps, was among the frontrunners in this competition. The Great Jaguar Temple. Yes, you might have heard of it. This temple, reaching towards the sky, was so tall that it seemed to want to touch the gods. Its construction was a result of years of labor, countless workers, and the plans of sages. Every stone was shaped by the hands of a master, every step told a story. This temple proclaimed Tikal's power and splendor to the world. It wasn't just a place of worship, but also a bridge between the heavens and the earth. People would meet the gods here, pray, and perform rituals. Copan didn't lag behind, of course. Copan. This city advanced not only in astronomy and mathematics but also in architecture. In Copan, pyramids greeted the sunrise. Each tier of these pyramids was a treasure trove of knowledge. Astronomical calculations, historical events, sacred texts, all were engraved in these stones. Especially the ruler known as 18 Rabbit commissioned one of Copan's largest pyramids. Such a pyramid that when you reached the top at sunrise, you felt as if you were reaching the gods with the first light of the day. This pyramid wasn't just a pile of stones but a temple of wisdom. But my friends, these structures were not only aesthetic but also had strategic significance. The tall temples served both as observation points and defense lines during wartime. Tikal's Great Jaguar Temple was used to observe and defend against enemy armies. Copan's pyramids were ideal spaces for mapping the sky and bringing people together. The construction of these structures wasn't just a display of power, but also symbolized the unity and strength of the people. Now let's pause and reflect for a moment. Why did the Maya build such grand structures? Because they wanted to understand both the world and the beyond, to please the gods and secure the future. For them, every stone, every building was a prayer, an intention, a quest. The wealth brought by trade not only enriched them materially but also spiritually. They wanted to leave a mark, not just in this world but in the next. So, dear friends, this was the era of the Maya civilization. The trade of obsidian expanded the cities, enriched the people, and led to the construction of temples and pyramids. And these structures still stand there, silently whispering those ancient stories to us. Let's continue our journey and delve into more of the Maya's secrets, because there's still so much more to tell behind these stones. My dear friends, let's now dive into the depths of history. Let's witness how the unforgettable battles between Tikal and Calakmul shaped the destiny of the Maya world. Close your eyes and imagine yourself on the battlefield of that time. The distant drum beats, the brave cries of warriors, and the echoing war chants amidst the royal buildings. Here is where the most magnificent and bloody struggles of the Maya civilization took place. Tikal and Calakmul. Two great city-states emerged as enemies on the historical stage. These two cities, like giants, fought to rule over the Yucatan Peninsula. Tikal was a legend rising from the depths of the forest. It was known for its towering pyramids, grand temples, and monuments symbolizing its power. Calakmul, on the other hand, was located far away, beyond the green forests, and was known as a mysterious center of power. Both cities were engaged in a relentless struggle to expand their borders, defeat their rivals, and take control of these fertile lands. Tikal, as a powerful city-state, had been an influential regional power since ancient times. While its pyramids soared to the sky, Calakmul also emerged as an impressive rival. The conflicts between the two cities were not only about land and power, but also about determining the will of the gods. In the Maya world, the power of cities was often measured by their devotion to the gods. These great city battles were shaped not only by military strategies but also by diplomacy and alliances. The wars between Tikal and Calakmul were filled with complex networks of alliances and ever-changing allies. City-states tried to gain strategic advantages by forming alliances with each other. High-ranking officials, kings and queens often made diplomatic marriages and signed secret agreements to secure these alliances. For example, during the conflicts between Tikal and Calakmul, both cities formed alliances with different Maya city-states, enhancing their power. Some cities supported Tikal, while others backed Calakmul. These diplomatic maneuvers were crucial factors in determining the course of the wars. Another important factor was the complex political networks of Maya civilization. Alliances and enmities between cities often stemmed from internal power struggles. These struggles were further complicated by the ambitions of royal families, personal rivalries, and religious beliefs. In addition to intercity wars, there were also local conflicts. Sometimes a city would form an alliance with another city to overthrow the current ruler, while others fought to become a larger regional power. The complexity of the wars between Tikal and Calakmul also influenced Maya military strategies. The defenses of the cities, their war strategies, and military tactics determined the outcomes of the battles. Tikal had a defensive advantage with its high pyramids and temples. These structures not only protected the city from enemy attacks, but also served as military observation points. On the other hand, Calakmul's strategic location and extensive forested areas made it a formidable fortress. Warriors could hide in the depths of the forests and launch surprise attacks against Tikal. The wars sometimes ended in great victories, but also led to long sieges and conflicts. As a result of these wars, the city-states experienced both significant victories and severe defeats. Both cities learned valuable lessons in military strategy and diplomacy from their battles. The wars also led to cultural and political changes. These struggles deeply affected the city's development, cultural exchange, and societal structures. And dear friends, these wars between Tikal and Calakmul left deep marks in Maya history. Each battle, alliance, and strategy revealed how this great civilization was shaped and engaged in a power struggle. These wars were fought not only for the control of a region, but also for the fate of the gods and people. That's why the echoes of these wars constitute one of the most important and intriguing chapters in Maya history. Let's continue to delve deeper into these great struggles and alliances. My esteemed listeners, now we are embarking on another extraordinary journey through the captivating world of the Maya civilization. This time we will delve into the magnificent epochs where the stars, numbers, and art converged. Prepare yourselves, for this journey will take us both to the depths of the sky and to the pinnacles of Maya civilization's artistic and mathematical achievements. In these intertwined sections, we will explore everything from Maya's astronomical discoveries to the heights of their art and revolutionary developments in mathematics. First, let's look at the Maya's astronomical discoveries. Imagine ancient Maya astronomers meticulously studying the stars, planets, and celestial cycles under the deep night sky. Particularly, the movements of Venus were of great significance to the Maya. They tracked this planet's appearances and movements with remarkable precision and created the Venus calendar. This calendar reflected not only the periodicities of Venus, but also its relationship with societal activities like warfare and agriculture. The Maya, observing Venus's dance in the sky, linked its periodic movements with prophecies and made them a part of their lives. Additionally, their astronomical work to calculate solar eclipses was incredibly impressive. The Maya developed the ability to predict solar eclipses in advance. This knowledge was of great importance not only scientifically but also ritually and religiously. Solar eclipses allowed them to understand the world around them and interpret the impacts of these cosmic events on their social and religious lives. Along with this astronomical knowledge, they built special observatories and structures to observe and understand these events. These observatories showcased their deep commitment to the sky and their extraordinary skills in astronomy. Now let's move to the period when Maya art reached its zenith. The artworks of the ancient Maya were masterpieces that best reflected their cultural and religious lives. Especially sculptures, paintings, and ceramic works showcased the Maya civilization's aesthetic sense and creativity. These artworks were not merely aesthetic objects, but also crucial parts of social and religious rituals. Sculptures often depicted gods, kings, and heroes, narrating their mythological and historical stories. Each of these sculptures was filled with details reflecting the Maya's religious beliefs and social structure. Paintings were another important aspect of Maya art. These paintings, done on the walls of temples and palaces, depicted gods, mythological events, and daily life. The brushstrokes of the artist brought these paintings to life. revealing the Maya's worldviews and cultural values. Ceramic works were used both in daily life and ritual activities. The motifs and figures on ceramics reflected the Maya civilization's artistic understanding and aesthetic taste. And now, shining above all this information, another star: mathematical developments. Maya mathematics is particularly known for the concept of zero. Zero was not just a placeholder in Maya mathematics, but also an important concept. This concept allowed them to perform complex calculations and conduct accurate astronomical observations. The place of zero in the mathematical system distinguishes them from not only contemporary civilizations but from all of history. In the Maya mathematical system, the use of zero enabled them to manage the complexity of time, space, and number. This system worked with positional markers used to calculate multiple numbers. This mathematical knowledge helps us understand how they achieved extraordinary engineering feats in constructing their pyramids, temples, and other structures. All these astronomical and mathematical achievements reflect the depth and complexity of Maya art and culture. The ancient Maya exhibited extraordinary knowledge and skills in every domain, from the sky to the earth and from the depths of numbers to the heights of art. Dear listeners, thus we have embarked on a profound journey through Maya civilization's astronomical discoveries, artistic heights, and mathematical advancements. In the light of this knowledge, we have gained a better understanding of the fascinating world of the Maya civilization. Each discovery and creation reveals their wisdom and creativity. It has been a great pleasure and honor to share this knowledge from the depths of history with you. Now let us continue exploring the other secrets and beauties of this ancient civilization. Dear listeners, we are now embarking on a journey through the final chapters of this great civilization, which still holds many unsolved mysteries in its pages of history. We will deeply explore how these ancient Maya cities suddenly emptied, the impacts of climate change and environmental factors behind this immense collapse, and the various theories underlying these events. Get ready, as in this segment we will uncover the drama and secrets of the Maya civilization. Imagine that the once majestic cities with towering pyramids, expansive plazas, and bustling temples suddenly fall silent. Tikal, Copan, and other major centers transform from bustling, vibrant settlements into ghost towns. Why did such a great civilization, with its rich and powerful cities, suddenly become abandoned? The answer to this question is hidden not only in history books but also in nature itself. Climate changes and environmental factors emerge as some of the biggest reasons for this dramatic shift. The climate in the Maya region, once lush with warm and humid forests, underwent significant changes over time. The water sources, essential to agricultural societies, began to diminish due to droughts. Rivers and lakes dried up, rainfall became insufficient, and the soil became less fertile. These changes made it increasingly difficult for crops to grow, leading to famine and hunger. The Maya's extensive agricultural lands faced mounting environmental pressures, making it increasingly challenging to sustain the large population supported by the cities. Now, alongside these ecological disasters, let's consider the social unrest and internal conflicts. The abandonment of Tikal and other major cities was related not only to environmental factors, but also to social and political crises. Civil wars, religious and social tensions created significant unrest within Maya cities. Intercity wars and power struggles shook the social structure, disrupting the social order. This situation emerged as one of the factors leading to the abandonment of these cities. Research shows that social unrest and civil wars became increasingly prevalent in Maya cities. These conflicts led to the dissolution of social structures and the loss of control over major cities. The competition between city-states was compounded by external threats, including attacks from neighboring regions, disruptions in trade routes, and dwindling resources, leading to the sudden abandonment of these cities. Thus, the cities that once were the heart of Maya civilization began to crumble under the effects of environmental disasters, civil wars, and external threats. Each city, once a shining star of a great civilization, slowly faded into darkness. However, the abandonment and collapse of these cities not only help us understand the Maya civilization, but also reveal the deep relationship between humanity and the natural and social environment. Dear listeners, we now have a deeper understanding of the sudden abandonment of Maya cities, the impacts of climate change and environmental factors, and the social unrest and internal conflicts. Each event highlights the final periods of this ancient civilization and the challenges it faced throughout history. Sharing these profound and compelling moments of history with you has been a great pleasure and honor. Now, in light of this information, let us continue exploring the other secrets and depths of the Maya civilization. Dear friends, we are now reaching a pivotal moment in the history of the Maya civilization. Behind the once glorious cities that were mysteriously abandoned, we will uncover the birth of a new region and traces of a significant transformation. After the abandonment of the great Maya cities, we will explore how cities like Chichen Itza and Uxmal emerged, their interactions with the Toltecs, and their profound effects on Maya culture. Prepare yourselves, as in this episode we will bridge history and travel through the remnants of ancient civilizations. Let's begin with the emergence of these new cities, Chichen Itza and Uxmal, by adding a new shine to the ancient ruins of the Maya, gained a significant place on the historical stage of Mesoamerica. First, let's take a look at the magnificent rise of Chichen Itza. This city rose in the heart of the Yucatan Peninsula, surrounded by forests, and shone like a star. The emergence of Chichen Itza is considered a symbol of a new era following the collapse of the Maya civilization. The city was known for its grand pyramids, impressive temples, and astronomical observations. The Pyramid of Kukulkan stands out as one of the central symbols of the city. This massive structure is not only an architectural marvel but also an expression of the deep connections with the sky. During the spring and autumn equinoxes each year, the pyramid casts a shadow of Kukulkan in the shape of a serpent due to the special angle of sunlight. This astronomical event showcases the Maya's impressive relationship with the cosmos. Now let's move on to Uxmal. Uxmal, another major city located in the southern Yucatan Peninsula, developed under the influence of Chichen Itza, and is also one of the primary examples of the Maya's Pushak architectural style. This city is noted for its elegant stonework, intricately decorated structures, and massive pyramids. Uxmal's architecture is renowned for its fine craftsmanship and aesthetic understanding, reflecting the cultural and artistic development of the later Maya civilization. Now, let's address an important point regarding the Toltec-Maya relationships. With the rise of Chichen Itza, interactions with the Toltecs played a crucial role in the development of the city. The Toltecs, a civilization from central Mexico, brought significant cultural and political influences to Maya lands. As a city developing under Toltec influence, Chichen Itza became a symbol of the fusion and interaction of these two civilizations. The Toltec influence is particularly observable in the architectural designs and artworks of the city. The characteristic elements of the Toltecs, combined with the structures at Chichen Itza, enhanced the architectural richness and diversity of the city. Chichen Itza and Uxmal stand out as places where old and new cultural currents merged during the later periods of the Maya civilization. These cities experienced a great transformation throughout history after the abandonment of the old Maya cities. They became centers of new cultural and social dynamics. The pyramids of Chichen Itza and the elegant structures of Uxmal narrate the profound impact of these two cities on Maya civilization and their resistance against the flow of time. Throughout history, these two cities have remained important pieces of the complex and rich heritage of the Maya civilization. Each stone, each pyramid, tells a story that sheds light on the depths and history of this civilization. Now, on our journey through the depths of the past, we better understand how Chichen Itza and Uxmal emerged and how they were shaped by Toltec influence. This knowledge helps us grasp the richness and complexity of the Maya civilization. Let's now delve further into the legacy left by these great cities and their impact throughout history. Dear friends, today I'm going to take you on an in-depth journey through one of the most exciting and dynamic periods in Maya history, the formation of the Mayapan League and the power struggles in the northern Yucatan Peninsula. Listen closely, as the events from this time point to significant changes in the political and cultural landscape of the Maya world. If you're ready, let's dive into this fascinating historical narrative. Once upon a time, a wave of change was sweeping through the Maya lands. With the abandonment of great cities and the rise of new ones, power balances in the northern Yucatan Peninsula began to shift. One of the most significant developments of this period was the rise of the Mayapan League. Mayapan was a city located in a strategically important spot in the northern Yucatan Peninsula. This city attracted the interest of many city-states that wanted to gain power and influence in the region. The rise of Mayapan drastically changed the political landscape of the Maya world. The city strengthened its relationships with other major centers around it and quickly became the hub of a league. This league was called the Mayapan League. And Mayapan, as the capital, became one of the most powerful cities in the northern peninsula. Thanks to its strategic location and military strength, Mayapan played a crucial role in determining the relationships with neighboring cities. The formation of the Mayapan League sparked a power struggle in the Maya world. Other city-states in the northern peninsula responded to Mayapan's rise by forming alliances and engaging in direct conflicts. Especially notable was how the ancient major cities like Chichen Itza and Uxmal played a role in the political games influenced by Mayapan. These struggles between city-states weren't limited to military conflicts. Cultural and economic relationships were also a significant part of these struggles. The Mayapan League solidified its economic power by controlling the trade routes in the region. During this time, new trade routes and markets were established. Under Mayapan's influence, these trade networks expanded, and the wealth of the Maya lands diversified. Controlling trade routes was a crucial factor in determining the power dynamics between city-states. At the same time, other cities under Mayapan's influence were dealing with their own internal issues. There were various uprisings and struggles against the League that Mayapan played a central role in. These internal conflicts complicated the political structure of the Maya civilization and made the shifts in power dynamics more pronounced. Mayapan's influence played a significant role in these cities' internal and external relations. The rise of the Mayapan League is considered a major turning point in Maya history. The political and cultural changes during this period had a substantial impact on the development of Maya civilization. The formation of the League and the power struggle in the northern peninsula reflected the internal dynamics and power relations of Maya society, showcasing the complexity and dynamism of this era in Maya history. Now, as we wrap up our exploration of this period, let's continue to gather more information about Mayapan League's role in the historical stage and the development of Maya civilization. This historical journey will help us better understand the richness and depth of the Maya world. Dear friends, today I'm going to take you to one of the most striking and dramatic periods in Maya history. Among the fascinating secrets of those ancient times is the story of the first Europeans to set foot on Maya lands. This period's story involves brave explorers and the clash with a great civilization. So as you listen to this narrative, you might hear echoes of ancient times whispered from history books. On a dark night, with stormy winds from the depths of the ocean, the dawn of a new era was heralded. This era marked Europe's age of exploration, and one of the most important figures of this time was a conqueror named Hernán Cortés. Hernán Cortés' brave companions stepped into the rich lands of the New World in the early 16th century, making first contact with unknown territories. These daring explorations ignited a series of events that would deeply affect the entire Maya world. Under Cortés's leadership, these explorers ventured into the depths of the tropical forests. During their journey, they gathered their first impressions of the splendor of the Maya civilization. However, these impressions unfortunately signaled the beginning of the end for a great civilization. Hernán Cortés's arrival created significant anxiety and uncertainty in the Maya cities. The Europeans' discovery of this civilization, which they would confront directly, opened a dark door to the past of this civilization. The conquest of Maya cities was a complex and challenging process. When Cortés and his companions stepped onto Maya lands, there were many powerful cities and kingdoms in the region. However, the weapons and diseases brought by the Europeans proved effective in breaking down the defenses of the Maya civilization. The grand structures within the cities turned into battlefields, and the Maya people fought hard to defend themselves against these unknown enemies. Many of the Maya cities began to fall under the influence of Cortés and other Spanish explorers. One of the most significant events was the fall of Tenochtitlan. Tenochtitlan was one of the most important and last major cities in the Maya lands and showed strong resistance during Cortés's conquest. However, this resistance was short-lived. Against the superior technology and strategies of the Europeans, Tenochtitlan's defenses proved inadequate, and the city eventually had to surrender to the Spanish invasion. The fall of Tenochtitlan signaled that the end of Maya civilization was near. The city went down in history as one of the last bastions of Maya lands, and this event marked the end of the Maya people's resistance. As the influence of the Europeans spread over these lands, the traces of the old Maya civilization began to slowly fade away. The disappearance of Maya culture and traditions left a significant void in the historical stage. During this period, the conquest of Maya cities and the end of their resistance were part of a major historical shift. The Maya people had lost their former glory and faced the challenges brought by a new era. Hernán Cortés and other European explorers accelerated the fall of this civilization, fundamentally altering the course of world history. Now, as we conclude our exploration of these historical events, let's continue to delve into the final periods of Maya civilization and the important changes in this civilization's history. This journey will give us a more comprehensive understanding of the past of the Maya world. Dear friends, we are now approaching the end of the magnificent story of the Maya civilization. However, this closure is not just an end, but also an important opportunity to understand how an era rose and fell throughout history. The Maya civilization once shone like a star in the heart of Central America. And as we listened to the story of this remarkable civilization, we discovered the wisdom and tales that have come from the depths of time. Now, at the end of our long journey, let's revisit the legacy and lessons that the Maya civilization has left us. The pyramids they built, the advancements they made in mathematics and astronomy, their art, and cultural richness include some of the most impressive stories in human history. The Maya people's extraordinary engineering skills, deep thought processes, and creative talents made them one of the most significant civilizations not only of their own time, but of all history. The fall of the Maya civilization was not only due to wars and natural disasters, but also resulted from inter-civilizational interactions and changes. The abandonment of ancient Maya cities will remain as memories in the depths of time, like stars in the sky. These cities are like time capsules, telling us how civilizations rise and fall throughout history. The emergence of new cities like Chichen Itza and Uxmal shows the resilience and adaptability of Maya culture. These cities, modernized versions of old Maya traditions, remain as examples of cultural values and wisdom, that continued even after an era ended. The Toltec-Maya relationships and the formation of the Mayapan League illustrate the complexity of this civilization's history and how dynamic its social structures were. Finally, the arrival of Spanish explorers stands out as one of the most significant turning points in Maya history. When Hernán Cortés and other explorers stepped onto Maya lands, they opened the doors to a great change not only physically but also culturally. The fall of Noitpitan and the end of resistance marked the end of the old Maya civilization and represented the closing of a historical era. In the light of these stories, as we remember the legacy and lessons left by the Maya civilization, we gain a better understanding of how civilizations have changed and evolved throughout history. Each story is filled with knowledge and wisdom from the depths of the past, and by keeping this knowledge in our memory, we can chart a brighter path for the future in the light of the past. Dear friends, this journey through the splendid story of the Maya civilization has provided us with an invaluable opportunity to understand how civilizations rise, change, and eventually come to an end. The past of these civilizations offers us not only historical events but also insights into the depths of the human condition. As we reflect on the end of this great civilization, let's also remember to draw lessons for our own lives from the valuable stories of the past. As we reach the end of this narrative, I want to remind you of the captivating world of the Maya civilization and the significant events in its history. These deep and rich stories from history not only open doors to the past, but also help us better understand the value of our own time and civilization. By learning from the wisdom of the past, we can chart a brighter path for the future. Thank you for joining me on this historical journey, and until the next historical story, farewell.